World creation. What does this screen mean? World name's pretty obvious, whatever you want to call it. Description, that is readable when somebody clicks on the thumbnail of your world, but it's not searchable. So it can be good for giving an indication to people who've already found your world what to expect in it. So you can put down your mission statement or your goals or just an hello message. That can go there, and that's good for helping people decide whether they want to join your world, if that's your goal. You could set it as a public world. That means it comes up on that first screen of worlds that anybody can join. That doesn't mean that they automatically can play in it, but it means that you've stated that you're looking for people you don't know to be able to join. If you're keeping it a private world, then you've got space for a password. That's just an added layer of security, because your worlds are still searchable even if they're not public. They just don't come up on that first page. So you want to make sure your password is not guessable, that it's harder to crack, or you could leave yourself open to griefers. Search tags. Obviously this is searchable, and this is helpful for people to find your world and see if it fits their ethos, what they want from a world. So you want to put down anything here that you think will help people find you, or things that people might wish to search by. So they may not be naturally an English speaker. Creativerse is a global game, so maybe you are open to French, or is your principal language that you will speak on the server will be French. So obviously people would search for that, so you could put that in. You can definitely put in no PvP, and that's a big thing for a lot of players. You could put in community builds, or community. The idea that it's not just a world where you come and do your thing by yourself. You're looking to build community, and you can expand on that in the description. Definitely you can put in things like big builds, but you can put in things as well like casual. So it's not like you're going to get upset if people just pop in randomly, rather than being seriously putting that big effort in. So it's anything you think people might search by, because they're trying to find a world that fits them, and that's the sort of player you want in your world. Somebody who has the same goals that you have in what you're playing with. So think about that and put in as many as you think are helpful. So you get to the settings. The basic settings are open to everybody, whether they're free or pro. Visitors only is a big one. This helps you vet who comes in, and don't take that off just because you've got a password, because like I said, if somebody cracks the password, or you've invited a friend along who's just casually given it out to somebody else, or maybe they've got that sneaky older / younger sibling who likes to troll, and they sneak on and grab that or they find that password and get on and do their own damage. So visitors only is important, especially if it's a private world, but as well in the public world, because you might want to vet people before they get to play in what you have created, the world you've established. PvP is pretty obvious, player versus player, whether you want to make sure that you can't damage each other. Fire spread, explosives, and corruption spread disabled. These are there because there can be griefing tools. People can set off an explosion even if you've claimed land. They might set off an explosion next to your claim and therefore damage your claim, or if you've got explosive enabled in your claim, that sort of thing. Fire spread, a fire could start just outside and come in. Corruption, you get the idea. Ways that people can grief. Also, corruption spread especially can have an effect when you're trying to build something and then the corruption turns the stone into corrupted stone. It can be a factor. It's hard to accidentally start fires unless you put a torch too close to a tar pit or something, so that generally isn't too big of a problem. But you do have those options you can set or unset. If you have Pro, when you set your world, you get a few more options. If you don't have Pro, Fresh Start is the only one that's automatically enabled. Fresh Start simply means that you do have to relearn all of your recipes. Not the ones you bought in the store, and not the ones that you've got out of treasure chests. Those ones are permanently unlocked, but the ones that you do through progression. So when you unlock the stone sword or craft the stone sword, you unlock the obsidian sword, that sort of thing. So you'll have to go right back to the start. If that's not checked, what it means is any recipe you've unlocked in any world is available to you straight away, regardless of whether you have the materials for it or not. That can be helpful if you've got friends coming in at a later stage. You want them to come in straight at where you are at. You can give them materials and they can build it straight away. Double treasure means more treasure chests spawn at night. Double regrowth, those are the consumable items that you collect, like mushrooms and wax and flowers. They will just grow more quickly. They'll have a higher spawn rate. Passive creatures, that means nothing will attack you. Mobs will still fight back if that's in their programming. That means leafies, keepers, they won't fight back. They never do. But the other creatures that would normally fight back when you attack them, pixies on up, will still fight back. It just means that nothing will be aggressive and attack you on sight. Fewer creatures means less animals wandering to and fro, which can be good if you're just all about the builds and they get annoying. Spawning and pixies trotting through your cities and whatnot. But obviously you do need some materials from them for a lot of recipes, so that can make that a little harder. Low gravity just means you'll bounce around a lot. You can jump higher. Also means it negates your fall damage in a lot of situations, which is very helpful if you've got a large build that's high in the sky. You will fall off. You always fall off. It seems inevitable, and that will just save you some of that damage. These settings can be changed and switched on and switched back on again if you're in control of the world. Skybox just gives you a few more things to look at night if you've got Celestial Skybox, but doesn't affect gameplay at all. Combat difficulty. This affects how hard the mobs hit and what you keep when you die. Normal, which is the default for every player and for basic players, that means you get standard damage from mobs. When you die, you will keep everything in your quick bar and everything you've got equipped or are wearing, so your armor, your sword, that will stay with you, and your tools and everything that appears down in the bottom in your quick bar. If you set it to easy, when you die you won't drop anything. You'll keep everything in your bag, everything you're wearing, everything in your quick bar. It's also harder to die because the mobs do half the damage that they would normally do. The only downside to easy is if you die you won't get a death statue, and they are used in a lot of recipes and for decorational purposes, so you would have to change it to normal for a while, rack up a few death statues and then switch it back to easy afterwards, and that is changeable after world creation. Hard mode, you'll drop everything you're wearing, everything in your quick bar, everything in your backpack will all go into your death statue, and the mobs will hit twice as hard as normal. So near your touchstone you might want to have a backup weapon and armor, because getting back to your death statue may be quite difficult if you're wielding a stick again and have no protection on you whatsoever. There we go, that's all the options you've got for creating your world. Have fun, and I'll talk to you next time.